Welcome back. I thought it was about time that I completed the circle on the Kamen Rider Drive transformation items. With the other sounds that can be performed if you have more than just, the standard orange Lockseed that it comes with. So, now, as well as the orange Lockseed, it also comes with the banana Lockseed of Kamen Rider Baron. That allows it to basically mimic the sounds and styles of the two of the most major riders of the series. But to quickly demonstrate the difference, let's do a belt only dry run in Gaim's mode. So when you lock on, you get the usual standby sounds familiar from the previous review. And it has this, granted sort of hip-hop dance version of, the kind of, Japanese warrior sounding music and a sort of Japanese battle cry. By swapping out the rider indicator plate to the one used by Kamen Rider Baron, the first thing you notice is it immediately gives the acknowledgement phrase, which goes from the Japanese war cry to, well, come on. You will then notice the difference, if I remember where I put the banana Lockseed. That when it locks on, it switches to this sort of, majestic knightly march, basically. And, being a Lockseed, the banana Lockseed has its own sort of sound effects, obviously. Still all sort of knightly and stuff. So, when you mix it all together, so, you then get that sound, which is very much, well, you get both sounds together that, the in-show Baron uses. So, as well as being able to keep them consistent the way they are in the show, you can then do a little bit of mix and match as well. Where it gets really interesting is when you start to bring in the energy Lockseeds. This time around, I'll be using the Dragon Fruit energy Lockseed. And the Genesis Core, which is primarily available with the Genesis driver itself, although one of the movie special Lockseeds, the Marin Energy Lockseed for Kamen Rider Knuckle, comes with the seed and its own Genesis Core to show how that one was used in its little spin-off film. Because the thing about the Genesis Core is it can then be used in conjunction with the Sengoku driver in place of a rider indicator. So if you slide this in here, you then get two lock slots. The way they're ultimately designed to go around is that you put a standard Lockseed in the main slot, an energy lock seed into the Genesis core slot, and, well, literally mix them together. Now obviously one thing it can't do... Oh, wrong one. Is the Genesis core doesn't have its own extra sound, so it doesn't have any extra lock on when you hit that one. You get it on that one. Similarly, when you do any of the attacks, it will mimic the attack on the secondary seed. And, you know, again, you can mix and match with the combos found in the show, or with any seeds that you've got. They are all able to work in both types of mode. They don't work as well because of some of the mechanics involved, but here's some of the other things that you can get. So, let's have 2 standard Lockseeds. Down trigger. And they all have their own sort of follow-up sound. Similarly, you can operate a energy lock seed in the Sengoku driver. They weren't used this way in the show, but the toys work. Obviously, you don't get the complete fold down of the opening of the seed part, but there's a secondary opening switch between there. So these actually work quite well. You can also put standard Lockseeds in the Genesis driver. The drawback you get with these ones, though, is there is a slight extra overlap of sound and there's no way of automatically flipping down the fruit part. But again, just for completion, oh, it really does help if you switch it on. One thing you will notice, and I'll have to switch off the lock seed to do this one, is that it treats, the Genesis driver treats different types of seeds slightly differently. So let's make sure that the seeds I want are switched off. Firstly, let's show one of the energy lock seeds. Watch the sounds and listen to the lights or something. You'll notice that one is a lot more vibrant. It's got a more loud voice and it's automatically multiply flashing the lights right from the start if you've got a lock seed that triggers certain of the switches in there. Conversely, some of the seeds and all of the regular lock seeds knock all three of the switches in the Genesis driver, and they get liquid. And, you know, just note the plain white light. So yeah, with all the different sounds and all the different lights and all the different combinations, you can have, well, basically any combination of lock seeds together, or mix and match the lock seeds and drivers. And although you can use them in ways that they're not strictly used in the show, it means that, you know, especially, you know, look at the target audience, little kids. Little kids with a handful of whichever lock seeds that they've got and whichever belts that they've got, and they can make up their own adventures and have all sorts of fun. And just because of the way that they've thought out the way the sound design works, yes, in the show and in any of the ongoing spin-off movies, they've got a little bit more play that they can do with the sound design, but there's a starting point that they can then do any sort of combinations that they want. For example, in one of the spin-off movies that recently came out, there's a bad guy that just uses 2 standard lock seeds and a Sengoku driver with a Genesis core. But because the toy has a way that that works, they were able to build consistently off how the technology works, because, you know, the toys are actually thought out in how the various combinations work. And although, yes, they can do more on screen, they've already got a fantastic building block, and they have been continuing to do that. Oh well, that'll do for now. And unless I buy any more lock seeds which have their own special functions, which is unlikely but not impossible, that's probably it for the Gaim toys. But until next topic, see ya.